New AC and heating unit, don't just call anyone, call the boss. Maybe you have some plumbing projects around the house. Well, you need to call the boss. Boss Plumbing and HVAC is family owned and operated, serving Southern Nevada since 2015.
Happy Modelo Friday to the bricklayers, everybody out there. How we doing?
AC
How we doing?
From water heater installations to tuning up your AC.
I remembered to press the live button today. I did not press go live yesterday, so
Hey, Jeff.
now I did.
Job working out.
Really sucks.
All right, Friday we're going to stream for the first hour. First hour of the show, going to get a lot of sports in. Second hour, we're going to do a lot of business. We got a couple of our radio clients coming on to talk about their partnership with us. Tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men, and my buddy's going to come in to promote the Commitment to Excellence Awards for Max Crosby. Also, Dr. Crevetti, our orthopedic surgeon who we do business with, is going to come in and tell some of us guys if you need a knee or a shoulder or something, they're going to help you with that. So hour number one is going to be pretty fast, all sports, and then hour number two, we're going to do some business.
328 at Allegiant Stadium. 3 games, Aussie Fives.
Monday, I'll host from here again, and then Tuesday, we're up in San Francisco for the rest of the week. So that'll be fun.
Hey, what's happening? It's Q Myers. I will be broadcasting live from Silver Sevens this Friday, and it's my last Friday, Aloha Friday. So I'll be giving away free prizes. Enjoy the cheers, $3 shots.
Hi,
Silver
sorry.
Sevens,
No problem.
on Flamingo in Paradise. Come see us this Friday.
That'd be fine. I appreciate that.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's the JT Break. A lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete, play with passion, are going to have a chance at a place.
Your Silver and Black home to Sound Off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, our final show of the week. It is a Modelo Friday. Modelo, Modelo, Modelo. Shout it out as we're ready to roll here on what will be a busy show today. Appreciate everybody I've already talked to on our live stream on the great YouTube, which we're loving. Numbers starting to grow. And then soon we'll do more than just a simulcast of a radio show. We'll do more programming here. We're working on that, and today's day is going to be hopefully a smooth one for the Raiders, and we'll talk NFL. Next week, we're in San Francisco. I'm here Monday, then we're up in San Francisco Tuesday through Friday, and I'm excited to broadcast from Radio Row up there, which is always fun. Always a good time, a lot of work. If you call this work, this isn't a real job. But it's going to be fun. Really excited to be up there again. And for all my years on the radio in the Bay Area and living up there and doing what I do, I think it's kind of a homecoming for me to come up there again, where a big part of my career started. A big part of my career got going, started here in Vegas when I started my career, but quickly moved to the Bay Area, was on KMBR at night for years. And then we launched the Ticket 1050, which was the original Raider flagship in the Bay Area. And that was great to be a part of that, to be in that middle of that lineup doing 8 hours a day. It's never been attempted. It never will again. 8 hours a day, something I don't recommend to many, but we pulled that off for about a year and a half, I think 18, 19 months of that, and had a good time. Got a chance to know San Francisco from the inside out. It was a different San Francisco back then. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to read between the lines. It was different in San Francisco in 2000, 2001, 2002. God, man, the Raiders were winning a lot of games. They were. They were going to the playoffs, AFC championship games, Super Bowl. So I got a lot of fond memories of my time in the Bay Area, no doubt about it. And hopefully I have some time to run around the Bay and maybe see some of you if you're up there in the Bay Area. All right, what we're going to do today, second hour of the show, and I'm only going to stream for an hour today, the video portion of it. We're going to take care of a lot of business. We got a couple of our partners who advertise with us that are going to come on and talk about what they do. Tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men, our men's spa, which I love, going today at 2:30 for a rejuvenation. You better believe it. And then we're going to talk about the Commitment to Excellence Awards. Commitment to Excellence Awards is coming up quickly, and we need you to get there in support of Max Crosby. And then our orthopedic surgeons are going to come in here if you need a new shoulder, knee. Crevetti Orthopedics, we talk to them about once a month. Today's their day. We'll do that. But I'm going to lead with the Raiders and Clint Kubiak as they're zeroing in on him. I got to be real careful what I said here because I got clipped again. And the guys who clipped me said Clint Kubiak doesn't need a second interview and all that. No. It's not what I said. What I said is that he's such a good candidate, you don't have to have a second interview with him. The Raiders do have a second interview with him tomorrow, and I hope it goes well. And what they're looking to do in that interview is get some type of verbal or some type of fulfillment that he wants the job and it's all but a done deal. But we don't know how the meeting's going to go. We have no idea. So we're assuming it's going to go well. We all clearly know that he is the number one choice. We've known that for a while. Like last year, Ben Johnson. Isn't it amazing what happened last year? Ben Johnson, a lot of people thought would be the Raiders' number one choice. They didn't settle on Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was a hell of an option at that point in time to get a legendary coach. So the second option wasn't the first option. So if the Raiders don't get Clint Kubiak for whatever reason, they're going to have to go on to other options. And we've said this for a month. There's nothing new to tell you today. There's no breaking news. I look at Schefter and Ian Rappaport and everybody else. Everybody knows what the Raiders are doing. The Cardinals and the Raiders are the two teams without a head coach. They're both interested in Clint Kubiak for obvious reasons. They get a chance to talk to him this weekend because there's a window to do that before he's fully prepared for the Super Bowl, which is his primary job. If they lose the Super Bowl, could that have an effect on Kubiak coming back? I don't know. If they win the Super Bowl, does he want to come back and do it one more time and go back to back, which most teams want to do, and it's hard to do? Or if he wins, will that be great? That would be the cherry on top of the Space Needle in Seattle, and he can roll out of there and become a head coach. He's the son of a head coach. He knows everything about the league. He knows a lot of the veteran executives. He knows a lot of coaches, and he'll put his own staff together. I'm sure the Raiders will help assist with that staff if he ends up getting the job. If he doesn't get the job and someone else comes in, then the Raiders really got to make that decision quickly, very quickly, whatever plan B is, and make sure plan B is rock solid. Plan B has got to be rock solid because last year it was. Plan B, if you think that was Pete Carroll, as a rock solid hire. It didn't work out, but it was a good decision to bring Pete Carroll in. It didn't work. Look, there's been 10 coaching vacancies that are going to be filled. 10, almost a third of the league. Okay, not all these jobs are going to work. Out of the 10 new coaches, maybe 6 of them do a good job. Maybe 6, maybe 7 at best. Maybe there's a first-year fire, right? Maybe someone gets a job, has a press conference, and they're fired in a year. We know about that with Pete Carroll. So with all of what's happening today, you know, everybody's on edge. Everybody wants to know what's going to happen next. Everybody wants to be excited about the opportunity, to finally get a head coach. It's been a long wait. It's been a very long wait. We know that. And now the wait is coming to an end. I just don't know when it will. You know, I'm going to be traveling back on the Monday after Super Bowl. I would hope it would happen on Tuesday, maybe Monday afternoon. We'll figure it out. But that's what's happening there. So if you have anything you want to add, I thought today in the first hour, for anybody who wants to call in at 702-365-9200, this is your last push right now for Kubiak. We don't have this next week. Next week, we're doing totally different programming up in San Francisco. Talking to legends, we're talking to newsmakers and all that. And I'm sure a lot of the guests are going to talk about Kubiak, and they're going to say, we think it's a done deal. It feels good for the Raiders. So that'll be a part of a lot of the interviews that I'll be doing up there. But I don't think, I know we're not going to have an answer, a firm decision, unless Tom Brady finishes the interview and says, yeah, this is feeling pretty good. He's coming with us. We're good. And he's not going to tell me that. He's not going to tell you that. And he's not going to tell Adam Schefter that. He's not going to tell anybody that. That's what he does. He's not going to tell anybody. So all it is speculation. All it is speculation. Schefter is reporting Kubiak to the Raiders or Cardinals. I think the Raider job is much better, but I say that often. For years, I've been telling you, I think the Raider job is pretty good for a number of reasons, but all the guys I said that about got fired, or John Gruden had to resign. So this hasn't worked out well. The Raiders have really struggled in hiring coaches. And I truly believe that all the coaches that they hired or they tried to figure out or they wanted to put in as an interim, those were all people that it felt good in the interview process. It felt good at the press conference. It felt really good at training camp, and it didn't work. Okay, as we've said, big boy radio. If it doesn't work, you fix it and move on. Look, the Steelers never hired a coach. Never. Right? They've had 3 coaches since the late 60s. Now they got Mike McCarthy. Most people in Pittsburgh didn't want Mike McCarthy. They wanted a younger and a jet. I can promise you that Pittsburgh would rather have Clint Kubiak than Mike McCarthy. But Mike McCarthy's got a cool story. He's from Pittsburgh, grew up right outside the stadium, and he's a really good coach. I mean, he's not going to drop the ball on anything. He's going to put together a good staff. Patrick Graham will be on that staff, the former Raider defensive coordinator. We wish him well. I'm going on a radio show with Andrew Filipponi after this in Pittsburgh to talk about Patrick Graham. And I'll tell you what I'm going to tell them. He's a really good defensive coordinator when he has good players. When he doesn't have good players like last year, he didn't have Pro Bowlers, the Raider defense struggled. When everybody's clicking and he's got good players, he's pretty good at drawing it up. A lot of people want to know if he was micromanaged by Pete Carroll. From what I heard, Pete was really involved throughout the process of games, talking about what he wanted to see during the game, and then very involved, even though Pete Carroll was not the defensive coordinator. He was the head coach. So I think for Patrick Graham, this could be a relief for him to not be under someone like Pete Carroll, who was in his ear, literally, and now maybe have the ability to have more freedom under Mike McCarthy. So it's all just a business. A lot of coaches are going to move, and a lot of Raider coaches on this staff all but know they're done. They all know. I mean, they have agents. They're trying to help them up for the next job. I don't know who Tom Brady and John Spytek are going to keep on the coaching staff. There's some good coaches there, but a lot of the coaches are going to move. And then Kubiak, if he gets the job, is going to bring in his coaches to be able to bring in a bunch of guys from Seattle. Maybe not the frontline guys, but the guys right behind the scenes, position coaches and all of that, to give them a bigger opportunity and, most important, more money. If you're a linebacker coach in Seattle and you come to Vegas, I'm not saying you're going to be the defensive coordinator, but you're probably going to get a raise. After winning the Super Bowl, you're probably going to get a raise to leave Seattle and come to Las Vegas, where there are no state taxes. Might be appealing for many of the coaches there. Wasted Talent will join us at the bottom of the hour. He just confirmed with me. The elite podcaster, streamer. So we'll have him at the bottom of the hour. I always like to know what his audience is talking about there. So with everything that's going on, this week was dominated by Bill Belichick not getting in the Hall of Fame. I love the topic. I truly do, because it gets me to talk about the Hall of Fame, something that I'm pretty excited to talk about, and the politics behind the Hall of Fame, which need to be exposed. And then it became the argument, who's more important, Brady or Belichick, which is one of the stupidest debates I've ever seen. If you want to put up one of the dumber debates in sports, put up who's more important, Belichick or Brady. They're pretty equal. If Belichick doesn't draft Brady, Tom Brady's not Tom Brady. He's good. He might win a Super Bowl or two, but he's not with the Patriots organization. He's not. And he doesn't win 6. You can't argue that. You cannot argue that. Bill Belichick put him in the game. Bill Belichick didn't cut him when he was a 4th-string quarterback, a 4th stringer. Belichick easily could have said, bye-bye, you're 4th string. You're going to get cut at the end of camp. We're going in another direction. Easily, Belichick could have did that. But they saw something in Brady, and then Bledsoe got hurt. The hit from Mo Lewis changed the face of football. One of the biggest moves in football history is when Bledsoe got hurt. But then when Bledsoe was healthy, Belichick didn't put him in. He let Brady stay in. That was a big Belichick decision. That would have been a hell of a controversy. So Tom Brady takes all that knowledge that he has with Bill Belichick, and now he brings it to the Raiders. We know what he can do as a quarterback. We know how he can look at a quarterback and understand how a quarterback should prepare. But now Tom Brady is figuring out how to be an owner and how to be an owner who needs to close the deals. And a lot of the other owners who are with the Raiders now, the new minority owners, they're all closers. These are really, really sharp guys with multi-billion-dollar businesses that close deals every day. Now they got to close a coach. It's not that easy. So we all know what's happening here. Hopefully we come back, we find out. I don't know who's going to leak it. It's not going to be me. But hopefully when they have this meeting, people start talking and the Raiders feel really good about it. And then we'd have to press DEFCON 5 if we find out that after the meeting, Kubiak withdrew his name, which I doubt he would. Why would he withdraw his name before the Super Bowl? But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But he's probably pretty happy in Seattle. He's got really good players. Sam Darnold is someone he helped develop to a higher level. Maybe he wants to be with Sam for another 2 years and make a lot of money and get a raise. But I think it's a better job to be with Fernando Mendoza as he comes into the league, the Heisman Trophy winner, pretty much the number one pick overall. And to work with a guy like that means initially you're going to lose games. You're not going to win every game. But that's what I love about this Mendoza topic. I mean, it feels like Mendoza could be like Drake May, that he could come in and just start winning, right? Could Clay? I mean, this is the possibility, Clay Baker, that if Mendoza comes in and he's running a really clean, crisp offense and he's moving the chains, he can come in and start winning games where Cam Ward couldn't do that in Tennessee. Cam Ward's team was awful. I think Mendoza has a chance to win.
No, when you're a Heisman Trophy, you obviously have a nice little floor there that says, listen, I got a 70% completion rate. That's already a little jump ahead of what Cam Ward was able to do. But at the same time, there's going to be a structure around him that's going to make sure things are not going to be too harsh for him. And his ability to process, I think, puts him right in the mix for an NFL level. And at the same time, I think there's going to be a certain amount of a surprise factor that he's going to be providing, because there's not a whole lot of tape on him.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, we saw what he did. He looks to be close to as good as any quarterback to come out in quite some time. But he doesn't have the athletic ability of Caleb Williams. But reminds me a lot coming out of college. Andrew Luck was better, but Andrew Luck played a lot like him. He did. He was great at the line of scrimmage, great making decisions. And Andrew Luck would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer if he didn't retire early. I mean, he was a great player. So we got a Mendoza conversation here, Kubiak. And as I said earlier, if you'd like to call in, what do you think? This could be fun. What would your line be to Kubiak to close him? Would it be money? Been spending a lot of money around here. Coaches have been getting paid. As the great philosopher Randy Moss once said, straight cash homie. You come coach for this team, you're getting paid. They pay well. And that could be the difference is the money, or could it be the power that he wants in the structure of the Raiders, which a lot of insiders and people around the league are pretty still confused about. Now, they're confused about how much time Brady's in the building. I'm not. They're confused about the relationship between Brady, Spytek, and Mark Davis. I'm not. I think it's pretty basic what they're trying to do. 3 adult men trying to make a franchise better. But this is important. As we talked about, one of the most important off seasons in Raider history. And today's the Raiders' birthday. The birth of the Raiders happened on this day. So I'm excited to talk to you today. Hopefully we get a few people excited to talk to me. As I always say, sound off like you got a pair. 702-365-9200. What would be your closing line? Would it be the bag? A bag of cash? Would it be Mendoza and Bowers and Genti? Let's put that in a 3. Is it Vegas? Hey, man, you get a chance to be in Vegas, one of the fastest growing franchises in the world in an emerging market. That's a part of the story, too. There are a lot of aspects to trying to close a deal. When I was a stockbroker and I was trying to close, back when I was a stockbroker, we would have to close people on the first call. If you saw the movie, The Boiler Room, that was my crew. It's about me and those guys. That was the movie. Then they made a movie, Wolf of Wall Street, that more people saw. And we were trained to close on the first call. I would call dry cleaners. They had money. And I'd get a dry cleaner on the phone, and you'd hear in the background all the dry cleaning, the pressing going on. I'd say, Mr. Jones, do you have a minute? And I'd go into my pitch, and I wouldn't let him hang up. Wouldn't let him hang up and ask for the order. Ask for the order. All they can do is say no and hang up on you. And they did that all day to me. And I kept calling, making 300 cold calls a day. 300 a day. And by the end of year 1 at 21 years old, I'm driving a Porsche. and making a lot of money because I knew how to close. Because if you can't close as a salesperson, you got nothing. You got nothing if you can't close. You got to close the deal. You got to put pen to paper. You got to get the Social Security number. You got to ask for the business. And I believe that the Raiders are asking for the business of Clint Kubiak now. They are closing him. And I just don't know the client. I don't know if he likes being closed or not. I don't know if you got to give him a hard push or not. I don't know if it's in the can already. They already got it lined up. They're pretty confident it's over. They got him. Or it's 50-50. None of us know that. Even the housewives who pretend to be insiders. They're all trying to figure this one out. But the difference is they're looking for clicks. And anything that could get a click in this day and age is working in media, which is a bit of a concern. That is a bit of a concern when you got about 5 legitimate NFL insiders. I mean, big insiders. Then you got about another 20 behind them that are respected, good insiders. And then you have anybody with a phone who can go to a printer and print up a business card saying NFL Insider. And the only way they're going to crack the top 50 or top 20, they got to break some news. They got to go out on a limb. They got to tell you something that you're not hearing from someone else. You will not find that from me, nor would you ever find that from me. Working for the Raiders are a very private organization with their business. It's called protecting the shield. You protect the shield. You know, people are triggered now. They want to win more games. We get it. So I'm sitting in my seat right here doing the show, and I can't even put out a video saying how great the Raiders are doing financially at Allegiant Stadium. Got knuckleheads yelling at me. It doesn't matter they're making money. They don't win. No, it does matter they're making money. That's my point. I know they don't win. I host the pre- and post-game show. You think I know if they win or not? But they have a revenue stream like they've never, ever, ever had, stronger than the majority of every team in this league other than 2 or 3. They have that thing buttoned up pretty good. Now they got to find a way to button up the personnel. They got to get the personnel right and the coaching hire right. And that is not easy. And that's a monologue brought to you by Golden Entertainment. Head on out to PT's. I'm going to the hockey game Saturday night. So I'm rolling into Golden Knights game Saturday night, and the boys were meeting at a PT's to pregame before that. PT's fuels the monologue. Over 70 taverns here, and you're home for the big game coming up, because if you don't have a place to watch the Super Bowl, they can take care of you. Joe in Brooklyn. Always good to hear from New York. How are you, Joe?
What's up, JT? Boiler Room. Great movie. Always be closing.
Yep.
That's what we got to do this weekend. Listen, blank slate. Whatever he wants, we got to give him. He wants, the big check he's obviously going to get. But if he wants to build the roster the way he wants with John Spytek's help, we have some pieces there. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's use the pieces. But like I said, let's give him if that's what he wants, a little more player control. I'm good with it. And it should just be let's get this. Let's get this going in the right direction. Let's start winning some games. It doesn't have to be a turnaround like the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Tampa Bay, Buccaneers, or the Chicago Bears. They have a few more pieces than us, but we're not as far away as those teams. Build your line, like you said, for free agents. Another draft, and let's get this. Let's get Kubiak in, and let's start winning.
Yeah, that's the plan. Thanks, Joe. Have a good weekend in Brooklyn. That's the plan. Plan's pretty simple. To try to do what the Commanders did 2 years ago, the Patriots did this year, try to go from 4 wins. Raiders got 3, and then try to really flip it quickly. But that's going to be tempered down. You saw John Spytek's press conference. No one's talking about 10 or 11 wins this upcoming year. It'd be nice, but no one's going to do that. And I don't criticize Pete Carroll at all. When he said once at his press conference, I win games. I win 10 games every year. What's wrong with that? What do you want Pete Carroll to say? We're going to take a step back, and then we're going to start winning? No, it's Pete Carroll. Now, if you hire a coach that's never coached before, they're not going to have the confidence like Pete Carroll to come into a presser and say, we're going to win 10 games. Pete Carroll has got the pelts on the wall to do that. And he did it, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. A couple of people are asking me about Patrick Graham and what the Raiders do. The Raiders are going to hire a new defensive coordinator after they hire the head coach, and the head coach will have a lot to do with that. His voice will have a lot to do with that and the type of defensive coordinator and style that he wants to fit with the offense, period. Or if Kubiak doesn't get the job for whatever reason, the Raiders could be hiring a defensive head coach, which I don't think is ideal. But running out of candidates. And maybe some of the best candidates left after Kubiak are defensive head coaches. And that would be Sean McDermott, who would be on the top of my list. Thor in Summerlin, Raider Nation Drinking Club. Hello, Thor.
Hey, team, what's happening? Happy weekend. And I can't wait to get the Raider Nation bring it in this weekend for sure. And everything. Hopefully, it's Christmas, like we got.
Hey, Thor, you didn't have a dry January, did you? My wife had a dry January. I did not partake. I had too many friends in town. But did you attempt a dry January?
Hey, well, trying to see if we're going out and having a good time and having a couple of beverages. It doesn't matter what you get or what. Oh. If there's regular thing in dry February or whatever, just drinking I'm ready to go.
There you go. Who do you want as the coach? I got to run. Who do you want as the coach?
I mean, what is me? I don't like hard spells. So, me, I would come with, do you want to be a man? Nation back to greatness. There's only one nation, it's the Raider Nation. You can be that man. They can bring us back to greatness. That's how I would like to be sold. Super hard to me, I would just shut down. But I don't know. Maybe you have to do that to him.
Yeah.
So, but whatever it is, they need to know what it is. Go in there with their best pitch and get organized. Get this thing started. We need to start working because be here. You know the company. We get it.
Thanks, Thor.
Go win the Super Bowl and we're getting ready to be a.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm hoping Seattle wins the Super Bowl over the Patriots. I'm really hoping that happens. I think they will. But it'll be interesting. The Patriots are a team that's going to muck it up, and they're going to keep it. They're going to really try to shorten that game. And they're going to try to get to halftime like they did in Denver and just play 30 minutes of Mike Vrabel football to win. It's not going to be that easy for Seattle. Sam Darnold's the quarterback. It's a nice story, but that ain't Joe Montana for the Niner Destiny team. No, that's not. So I think Mike Vrabel's confident he can get to Sam Darnold. Wasted Talent will join us next.
Wake up with the morning tailgate.
Chase, it's Wahoo Sports. I appreciate you.
All right, Clay. Good start.
I need kind of cheat code to wide receiver that's just open all the time. For Sam, it's such a reminder that systems matter, coaching matters, and we all need to keep in mind, organizations fail young quarterbacks.
What's happening in the chat? Could Mendoza leave after 1 year? Why? No. Why would he leave after 1 year? That makes no sense. I went to Golden Steer last night. What a restaurant. I would say top 3 restaurant in all of Las Vegas, which is a culinary capital of the world. That's how much this place was. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy night. Our table ordered the tomahawk and a split porterhouse. Too much food, man. Too much.
Thank you. We come back in a few minutes. Do you want to hold on? Meat sauce bread. Now
Okay,
at the
Thank
takeout counter. Zippy's meat sauce is thick and hearty with its signature
Is that him?
sweet, savory flavor.
Thank you.
Cross-free, and the garlic bread is grilled to perfection. Zippy's, home of Hawaii comfort food. Now with 3 locations: Arroyo Crossing, Wallaby Way, and Southeastern in Henderson.
It's not easy getting your child to school each day. Making breakfast, packing lunch, remembering homework, and getting to class on time. It's a lot, but you are setting up your child for success. Kindergarten through third grade classes are especially important to your child's growth. Missing school even 2 days a month could hurt your child's ability to learn. Give them the best chance of a great future because they'll be shaping ours. This message is sponsored by a partnership with Strengthen Our Community and Community Within Schools, aired in
Way
cooperation.
to handle that, Thor call. A true pro.
Auto has expanded.
Thor's a friend of mine.
Auto repair shops in the valley. 23 bays, over 12,000 square feet. ZipZap is your one-stop shop.
Well, the Raiders can't get Kubiak on Saturday. They can't get him. You can't hire him until after the Super Bowl. So if there is some type of thing with him in a good story, I'll talk about it, but not really. Saturday, I'm going to be at the Tom Flores viewing party here in Vegas. There's a whole bunch going on. Okay. Cisco's calling in.
Diagnosing issues in restoring performance. From routine maintenance to emergency breakdowns, they provide fast, reliable HVAC repair to keep your home comfortable. Schedule your 765 today. And Craft. Simplify is your trusted source for heating and plumbing needs. Simplify Heating Home.
Great, man. Stay right there.
Simplify Heating and
You want to go to Cisco
Service
first?
with honor, comfort.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right? One that credit union believes your life should be rewarded with a new.
Yep, thank you.
Let you skip payments for 90 days. You really can drive now and pay later. At One Nevada, we offer freedom from payment stress and more money in your pocket, so you spend less time worrying about financing and more time enjoying the drive. Check out the benefits of a One Nevada auto loan today at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA, equal opportunity lender.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Who's Kubiak getting? Which job?
Well, he's going to get the Raiders or he's going to get the Cardinals job.
Okay, so he's definitely getting one of those jobs.
He's definitely getting one of those jobs.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. Thank you, Schefter. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, that's the Pat McAfee show, Adam Schefter. He's definitely getting one of those jobs. You would think it'd be the Raiders over the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are going to have a full court press and try to do it there also. JT, back with you. Wasted talent in a moment. Cisco of the Black Hole. Let me get you in before Wasted. What's happening, man? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, JT. How are you?
Good. Looking forward to coming to the Bay. Hopefully we get the weather we're dreaming of from the East Bay to the South Bay, right there to downtown San Francisco. Hoping it's a great weather week.
Yeah. Let me know. We got to get a steak and hopefully a steak somewhere. Yeah, we'll get into it. But, yeah, man, had to call in on a Modelo Friday. And, talk on the Kubiak thing, man. I think the only thing that'll deter him away from coming to the Raiders is somebody in his ear. He's got a perfect position. We got Fernando coming, God willing. But yeah, he's got great opportunity. We got a great team. We're just missing a few pieces, and we're missing that guy that can get the best out of the players we have. And we have enough money to rebuild that offensive line. And I think it's a great opportunity for him, man. He's got a great mind, offensive mind. We've been talking about it for, about a month now. Yeah. I mean, he comes from a great tree of talent, coming down from his father. Worked with some great coaches. I think he's the perfect guy for the job. So, fingers crossed everything happens and we get some great news Saturday afternoon.
You got it, buddy. I hope to see you up there. We'll make sure we get together. There's Cisco of the Black Hole. Big part of the show. Big part of a Modelo Friday. Now we go to Wasted Talent. Kind enough to join us here. We added him to the show this year. Everybody's thrilled to hear from him. So let's bring him up and let's begin on what you've been talking about in regards to Kubiak and the fact that this is getting really close one way or another. What's your gut feeling tell you?
I mean, my gut feeling really tells me that I'm just confused by why this is even like a decision for him. The thing that makes me a little worried, and I think that he's going to take the job, right? The thing that makes me a little worried is the fact that just as a man who has a family, has moved 5 times in 5 years. And I think a lot of the times when we talk about coaches and things that happen in the National Football League, people forget that these guys, these players, these coaches are all human beings. They have kids, they have wives, they have families, homes, things of that nature, right? And the situation he's in Seattle is one that he's had probably the most success, right? And, them winning the Super Bowl would be the pinnacle of his career if they do win the Super Bowl. But the one thing that worries me a bit, JT, is the fact that it reminds me back to the Ben Johnson situation. And now I'm not talking about last year, but it was almost guaranteed that Ben Johnson would have took the Washington Commander job the previous year. And when Detroit kind of lost in the fashion that they did, he wanted to come and run it back, try to complete the mission. And that's the only thing that kind of makes me a little worried about this situation. Now, if it's a situation where he's picking between us or the Cardinals, the Raiders, come on, we're the Raiders, and it's the best case scenario. They have more cap space, get a chance to draft the number one pick quarterback that's not a reclamation project like Kyler Murray. And the Raiders really have a brighter future than the Cardinals. I would think just from a football perspective and just from a situation perspective, the Raiders are a better situation for any coach.
Wasted, I want to get to what you thought about with the behavior of Sean Payton after losing that game on the fourth down and then disclosing Bo Nix's past injuries and just what happened with him and the Denver Broncos, because he's got a lot of coaches that work underneath him at various different spots. And he's got a lot of pull in this league, and he's gotten in the way of Davis Webb. If the Raiders really wanted Davis Webb, what he was able to do is fire the OC to make sure and send a message not only to the Raiders but the rest of the NFL that they want to keep him in-house in Denver. What have you been talking about on that topic?
Well, the thing with Davis Webb is if he wants to be known as an offensive coordinator in this league that has a track record, that's not really the place for him to stay, right? Sean Payton is the play caller. Everybody knows. And as far as the way he's been conducting himself, this is par for the course. Like, I'm not. This is coming just strictly from what we know of Sean Payton. This is not the guy who covers the Raiders or the fan of the Raiders. Sean Payton is not a good guy for me. I don't, like saw how he conducted himself, back when the Bounty Gate thing happened, how he detached himself from that situation. Even though he got suspended, he detached himself from that situation like he had nothing to do with it, right? And then now, they lose a game that they probably should have won. Like, you don't take the points in a situation where you have a backup quarterback playing in bad weather, right? And then you throw the ball way too much because you're the play caller. Not like, his offensive coordinator, Lombardi, was the play caller. You are. You're the guy that has you're making all of the major decisions. And then you're the one who decided in the red zone not to take the points before the weather got bad. And then what happens? You lose by, a score that you most likely would have won the game had you taken the points, right? Mm-hmm. And you talk about this all the time. You need 9 points from your kicker. Yeah. 9 points, and you should most likely win the game. And he had a situation where he could have got 9 points, and he lost. What was the game? Like 10-7 or something like that? I forget.
10-7.
10-7. 10-7. That is squarely on him. And I think a lot of what he's doing is trying to deflect the fact that the responsibility of that loss lays squarely on his shoulders. There's no one else to blame but Sean Payton. And I think it's shameful the way he's conducted himself.
Wasted Talent is our guest. Check out his podcast. You can't miss it. I want to dive in with this Hall of Fame with Bill Belichick. I mean, I know how old you are roughly, and, Belichick has been dominating most of your adult life with this run of 20 years with the Patriots and 6 Super Bowls. Then he doesn't get in first ballot, and it really seems like there was flat out, the best way I could describe it is backstabbing. People held it against Belichick, rightfully so, Spygate. But I think Spygate still, after he paid the fine, should have been enough for him to get to the Hall of Fame in the first ballot. But then you're hearing other people and voters there that have personal agendas to keep them out. They wanted to vote for other guys who they're up for their last year. So they tabled Bill Belichick, which is against the bylaws of the Hall of Fame. You have to vote for the best person available. That's part of your job. How did the Belichick topic play out with you?
It was funny because it's not really a Raider topic. I have a Raider podcast. Yeah. And you can't tell a story of the National Football League without Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has more Super Bowl victories than Bill Walsh and Don Shula combined. It is an absolute joke that this is even a topic, right? Like, and the fact that worries me when it comes to, achievement. We live in a world now where, people get clout over actual substance. People, they like everything. Nobody loves anything, right? And in sports, it's a meritocracy. This is the last vestige of society here. How good you are and how hard you work is everything. That's the only thing that should matter. And when you talk about Spygate, listen, I am no apologist for Bill Belichick, right? But what I know about the National Football League is, and this is Raider rule number one, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? All of these teams are trying to find a competitive advantage. And because Belichick did it better than everyone else, that shouldn't be held against them. It's like, JP, you're from the Northeast. You know, for years, people knew that you would stay at I think it was the Marriott right above Giant Stadium to look when they to practice. And just like have a roof on Giant Stadium. Dan Reeves had the job with the Giants, put a roof on a practice facility because he remembers being a coach of the Cowboys and them looking down at the Giants practice stuff back in the early 80s and the 70s. He just got caught with his hand in the coaching job. But there's no reason on earth that a man is most likely. I mean, if there's a small room of coaches, it's like him and like Vince Lombardi.
Yeah.
Like, who and rarefied here. I think what it does is it cheapens what the Hall of Fame is about. And it cheapens what it's about. And I think that, to be real with you, this is one time that the Board of Governors for the Hall of Fame need to just say, we don't care what you guys say. He's getting in. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen, because then it means nothing. Like we have a situation now where you have Shedeur Sanders, even though he is a backup quarterback, right? And he's a young kid, and I like Shedeur, but he's an alternate. But he's going to the Pro Bowl. Like it's like, so now does Pro Bowl not mean anything? It's Hall of Fame. Like, what means anything now in sports? And I'm very, very sensitive to the fact that things like the Super Bowl championships, the Hall of Fame, those things mean something to me, and it should mean something to everybody. I think everybody should be very, very
wasted talent as we wrap it up. So without the personal bias that we probably both have for wanting Kubiak to come here as the head coach, just from a football perspective, who wins the Super Bowl? What's your analysis a little over a week out on Seahawks or Patriots getting the Lombardi Trophy? What do you got?
I would most likely pick the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, that defense is for real. That kid Nick Amenwari, like, he's like Cam Chancellor, and he's like a better version of Cam Chancellor. That kid is amazing. I like him coming out of college. And then when you start talking about, Tariq Woolen, that secondary is really, and I know people probably say that kid's jumping the gun a little bit, but secondary is, to me, just as talented, if not more talented, than the Legion of Hope. And, up front, Leonard Williams and all of those guys, that defense is going to make it very, very hard for a very pedestrian Patriots offense. I think the Super Bowl is really going to be a blowout. I really do. I think the Seahawks win in a laugher.
In a laugher. That would be good to see. Tell everybody where they can find you, when you're going live next. When's the next time you're going?
You know what? Probably tomorrow. If we announce, I know that they can't officially announce that Kubiak is the head coach. If we get word that Kubiak has agreed or something like that, definitely tomorrow. And it's going to be on YouTube, Raider Nation Unlimited, featuring Wasted Talent. And I'm on X as well, formerly Twitter, same handle, Wasted Talent Raiders. And JT, thank you as always.
Appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. There he is. Wasted Talent. And we put him up there. The chat pops. Everybody likes him. A calming, cool voice, unlike myself. That's why we added him. We added him because he is a calming, cool voice, and he speaks to a lot of Raider fans, and he has strong opinions. That was brought to you by Remy Martin, Sip Like Sports Royalty. Whenever you go out, last night, I went to the Golden Steer. Holy cow, I got to tell you about that next. Oh, boy. Oh. I've been to some nice restaurants, been very fortunate in my life. This is like my third time to the Golden Steer. They have Remy Martin right up there, the Big Louie. Then afterwards, we went to 8 Cigar Lounge to see my buddy John, because my friends were staying at Resorts World, and had a nice stick and a beverage or two. It's a nice night. Wives' night out with the boys. We had a really good night. But Clay, that Golden Steer, when my buddy, who was in town and he was ready to go, he ordered the Seafood Tower. Oh. The Seafood Tower came out. I was like, oh, here we go. Crab, lobster, shrimp, and then the steaks. A porterhouse and a tomahawk split for the table. between 8, and it was actually too much. It's too much. I just too much food. So a couple of people got to take home. One of my buddy's wives was going to take the steak, the tomahawk. There was a big chunk of it left. Slice it up in eggs, steak and eggs for her boys in the morning. So it's pretty cool when you wake up in the morning, mom's cooking up golden steer tomahawks in your eggs, right?
You got a choice steak, a prime steak, right there in front of you for breakfast. Go ahead, kids. I know you're going to appreciate it.
It's going to be a good day at school today. All right, I'm going to be here on YouTube for about another, 15 minutes or so. And then hour number 2 is lined up. We're going to do a lot of business. We got our partners here. These are the partners who are also help sending us to the Super Bowl. And hopefully you do business with all of our partners. Every time I mention one of our partners, some people call them advertisers. I call them partners. We would like you to do business with them. From the Black Hole to Emride to Tito's, Modelo, Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men, Tim at the top of the hour. And then hopefully that's what you do. You hear someone talking on the radio, you like the business, you go try out the business. And it keeps this train rolling here at Lotus Broadcasting. We got some good sound coming in. And I want to get to the remaining coaching opportunities. Most of the coaches, the high-end coaches, are gone. John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin not coming back. But still there's something that eats at me in Buffalo when it comes to Sean McDermott. Is Sean McDermott the best alternate for the Raiders? And if you want to call in today, the topic's simple. What is your closing line to close Kubiak? What would you tell Kubiak about the Raiders, the players on the team, the stadium, the headquarters that you think could be a closing statement? 702-365-9200. We love Boyd Gaming. Over 10 properties here in the Valley. Always bet on black. Wherever you go to a golden, I go to a bunch of them, but the Orleans, what a job they do at the Orleans. Incredible there. Great restaurants too. Boyd Gaming, proud partner of our show. All right, we are going to do a hydrate.
And I'm not only thinking about an organization that has fired their coach year after year after year, I'm also going to tie my success to a quarterback I've never seen in the NFL before. I think he's really good. And if he stinks, I stink. And if he loses, I lose. And if he gets cut and moves on from, I get fired. Right? I mean, so there's a lot to just soak in right there.
Unnecessary roughness with your boy Q, weekdays at 2.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, ask them, where are you based? When you call the Richard Harris Law Firm, you already know we're local. I grew up here, and so did Josh. Local matters. Who you hire matters. The Richard Harris Law Firm.
JT the Brick from Findlay Volvo Las Vegas, reminding you can lease a new 2025 Volvo EX90 full electric with 3-row seating and get $8,500 in a lease allowance, or get 0 APR financing. Or how about leasing a new 2026 Volvo EX30 fully electric SUV and get $7,500 in a lease allowance, 1.9 APR financing at Findlay Volvo Las Vegas. This is JT the Brick from Raider Nation Radio for Emride, the preferred shuttle provider of Allegiant Stadium. Ride like a pro, round trip to your favorite events at Allegiant Stadium. No more hassle parking, sitting in traffic, or waiting in long taxi or rideshare lines. Emride it, and you'll get in and out quickly. Go to emride.com to book your ride today. Use promo code BRICK for 10% off. That's emride.com, promo code BRICK. This is JT from Las Vegas's premier cigar lounge, La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. You're going to be blown away like I was when I stepped into their walk-in humidor. Over 500 cigar labels to choose from. Plus, they feature one of the largest whiskey, scotch, and bourbon selections anywhere in the valley, with live local entertainment 7 nights a week. Great place to watch football games. Check it out at lacasacigars.com. Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, DIYers. McFadden Industrial Hardware has the
All right, everybody. We're going to do this for another 10 minutes. As always, have a great weekend. Don't know what you're doing this weekend, but have a good one. Yeah, the Volvo. Kenny Clark, the Volvo.
By NV Energy, it's all about taking savings to the next level. Check it out. These products and services save energy and money. There are discounts and rebates on energy-efficient devices and free smart thermostats.
Snow Raider, how's the snow? I got a buddy of mine fishing today in Tahoe on the water. Matter of fact, I'll show you the picture. Hold on. Let me find this. JT the Brick for Virgin Hotels Las Vegas, proud partner of Raider Nation Radio, and it's time to become a Cherry Rewards member because you'll get all the perks from the best hotel rates just for you. You'll earn on gaming, stays, spa days, and so much more. You know we love the restaurants from Nobu to One Steakhouse. Yep, you do need that. Thanks for reminding me. Vegas. Hotels Las Vegas, where valet and self parking are always free. Yeah, my buddy's fishing today in Tahoe. Look at that. It's a bit bright. It's too bright. It's too bright.
Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance.
Lake Tahoe.
He leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, it's fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Worried about your car payment? Don't be. Drive happy with a Westar Credit Union auto loan. Whether you are ready for something new or want to refinance
Antonio,
ride, we've got you.
Modesto, okay.
And easy. Picture yourself behind the wheel, windows down, music up, on the road to what matters most. Apply today at westar.org or stop by your nearest branch. All subject to terms and conditions apply. Must be a member to borrow. Membership requires a savings account with a minimum balance.
From birthdays to business meetings, or just because, Craze makes every moment delicious. Artful charcuterie boards, made fresh. Visit crazecraze.com. Celebrate everything. Call 702-6...
Everybody.
Craze Charcuterie.
Gold Circle Sports Bar inside Treasure Island Hotel and Casino is the best place to watch games on the Strip. There's a huge video wall and over 55 plus screens throughout the bar. Place your sports bets at the new STN Sportsbook. The menu with the Golden Circle Burger, the Linebacker Bison Burger, Philly Cheesesteak, the Polish Sausage, and so much more is dynamite. Golden Circle Sports Bar's happy hour is amazing with $5 draft beers every day from 10 to 6p. Treasure Island, the Vegas destination for those seeking a contemporary resort experience with an ideal location on the Las Vegas Strip. And remember, parking is always free.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Local 872, your workforce solution.
Three tight ends in the game for Seattle now. Walker, hand off to him. Starts up the middle. He's going to bounce it right side. He goes in. Seahawks. From 2 yards out, Ken Walker looked inside and said, nope, there's nothing here. I'm going to take off far right side. And he runs it in, his fourth playoff touchdown, and the Seahawks on top, 6-0 early.
Hawks Radio. They got a good play-by-play voice. They do a nice job up there. If you haven't been to Seattle for a game, Raiders seem to play there every year in the preseason. So I've been up there a bunch. That's a great stadium. Outdoor stadium. Weather is a factor. The crowd is loud. There's some good tailgating. They got a bunch of great bars surrounding the stadium, Pioneer Square. So they're very into local beers and just having a good time. Seattle's a little bit different. It is a little bit different, but Seattle knows how to tailgate. They get behind that. Speaking of tailgates, got a great opportunity to see you Saturday at Tom's Bar, the Tom's Watch Bar, which is at New York, New York, on the outside facing the Strip. It'll be Raider Nation Unites for Tom Flores. It's a tribute and virtual meet and greet. Tom Flores will be at his home in the desert, and he'll be able to watch. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of bars around the country that are going to have people come together to celebrate Coach Flores. It's a really cool idea. It starts at 10 a.m. 1 p.m. is the live stream. They're going to have raffles and prizes. So that's at Tom's Watch Bar right at New York, New York on the Strip. So if you're a Raider fan looking to do something tomorrow, which is Saturday, it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of people there. A lot of Raider alumni will be there. Napoleon McCallum, Frank Hawkins. All the guys who live in town are coming. And I'm coming. Mark Jones, who runs the Black Hole, will be there. So there's going to be a lot of Raider gear. A lot of Raider fans going to be there. And what an idea to celebrate Tom Flores while he's with us. And, Tom is Tom's home now, and you probably won't be seeing him anytime soon at a game. So this is an opportunity to celebrate the life of Tom Flores, a gentleman who has a big impact on my life and your life. Antonio in Modesto, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Hey, JT, real quick. If we have to make an offer, I just don't like us being in his position. I don't know if it's predicated on if he wins the Super Bowl and goes with the ring. It'd be nice to have the Super Bowl winning coach or a coordinator, and then a Heisman Trophy. That'd look great. But I guess you have to offer him the bank. But I wanted to talk real quick. The other day, Q had what's the guy? He had John McClain on, and I wanted to roll the tape. I couldn't get the tape to kind of hear what he had to say. And I'm not going in negative toward John McClain. He's a Hall of Famer. I give him all props. You got Paul Gutierrez. I don't know if you've had it. He's made it save yet. There's Mark Fioro. I know he's not a Hall of Fame voter. Have you said anything yet? I think this story is too. I'm shocked. The day that it came out, I almost ran off the side of the road when I seen it. There's something else going on, but anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. Grant, I don't know if they're going to get Paul on the radio. Yeah. I am taking Seattle. I don't know about a route, but I think that Grable's going to keep those Patriots motivated. I think it's going to be a close game. I do like the Seahawks.
Thank you. You're talking about Belichick. Paul Gutierrez is now a Hall of Fame voter. I have no intention on asking Paul or Howard Balzer or John McClain who they voted for or not. That's them. I take the high road on that. I'm not going to ask them how they voted. If they want to go on their platforms and tell everybody, we'll play the audio. But I'm not going to sit around and say, call up these guys and say, not an ambush, but say, hey, I'm putting you on the radio and I want to know who you voted for the Hall of Fame. No, those guys have, and gals, and who's ever in that room, they have the power, and they know they have the power. And hopefully going forward, no one lets their personal agenda get in the way, because that's what happened with Bill Belichick. And it's happened with Barry Bonds. It's also about the way you treat people in life, however you treat people. So if you treat people poorly and then want to get a vote, don't expect the people you treat poorly to give you a vote. And Bill Belichick treated a lot of people poorly over the years, but I think more of the 10 plus voters or 11 that voted to keep him out, probably 2 or 3 said, no, I got these other coaches that are on their last years of eligibility. I want them in. But that's not in the bylaws. The bylaws are you vote for the best people available. That's why this is a slippery slope.
Yeah, and it's going to be this witch hunt that goes on into Radio Row. Like, who was there? What did you do? Gary Myers has already come out and saying, it wasn't me. I voted for him. But, you seem like those who did, they're trying to get out in front of this to be exonerated by the social justice.
Yes, that's a good way of looking at it. All right. We say goodbye to our live stream. Appreciate everybody who joins us on YouTube. We got 530 people in there from Twitter, YouTube, and all that as we continue one brick layer at a time. I ask everybody to please subscribe on YouTube to JT the Brick, and then you'll get all the shorts, all the reels, the breaking news, the stuff that we like to talk about. No doubt, if there's something that's big with the Raiders coming up, there will be a backyard brick over the weekend. And there will be some Modelos in the background of the backyard brick. So when we come back, hour number 2, we're going to take care of some business. I never like when people say, we're going to pay the bills. No one cares about you paying the bills. We're going to take care of business. We're going to talk to my buddy Tim from Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. That's the men's spa that I've been going to and a lot of guys are going to. We'll tell you about that and how you can be a part of it. Also, Crevetti Orthopedics. One of the doctors are coming in to talk about what they do. And then we're going to help sell tickets to the Commitment to Excellence Award. Stick around.
Hey, what's happening? It's Q Myers.
Thank you, everybody. If anybody's here in Vegas, try to come to that Tom Flores watch party. If everybody could hit the like button, please hit the like button right now and hit subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 1, 4-hour show, Sunday morning.